Ever since the reveal of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond in the last Nintendo Direct, people have been wondering, where does Metroid Prime 4 take place in the timeline? And I've seen many people talk about this topic, but they never really came up with an actual answer. But that's what I'm here for today, because I think I actually found out where Metroid Prime takes place in the timeline. But just keep in mind that this is just me speculating on the info that we currently have, which is just this one trailer for the game. So I could be proven wrong when the game actually comes out, but for now I'm just speculating, so please keep that in mind. But before we get into it, I just want to ask everyone who has never played a Metroid game or doesn't really know anything about the lore of these games, if I asked you where do you think Metroid Prime 4 takes place in the timeline, your logical answer would probably be after Metroid Prime 3. And you know that should have been the logical answer. But turns out, Metroid Prime 4 doesn't even come close to the Prime trilogy. So the very first thing that we need to talk about is the first thing they show in the trailer. Cosmic Year 20X9. And for context, the very first Metroid game and its remake take place in 20X5. And many people have speculated that Metroid 2 and Super Metroid take place in 20X7. So my guess is that the Prime games all take place in 20X6, or maybe Prime 1 and Prime Hunters also take place in 20X5 and the rest takes place in 20X6. But either way, 20X6 or 20X5 is nowhere close to 20X9, so we gotta go further into the timeline. And that leaves us with 3 games: Metroid Other M, Metroid Fusion, and Metroid Dread. And I'm gonna say it right here, I think that Metroid Prime 4 takes place right after Metroid Other M. And trust me, I have proof for this. So why do I think that Metroid Prime 4 takes place after Other M and before Fusion? Like, why can it not happen before Other M or after Fusion? Because it just wouldn't make sense anymore if that was the case. Let me explain. Metroid Other M literally takes place right after Super Metroid. It gives you a recap of Super Metroid's ending and then builds off of that. And since Super Metroid takes place in 20X7, that has to mean that Other M either also takes place in 20X7 or maybe even 20X8. I don't know, the time where Samus goes into quarantine, that could maybe be in 20X7, and the time when she arrives at the bottle ship, that could be in 20X8. Like, the game doesn't tell how much time passes between those two events, but Samus calls it a faded memory.
I don't know how much time passed since then. Days went by in their quiet way, and people's recollections of Metroids and space pirates grew nebulous over time, relegated to a past concern of the galactic communities. Nothing more than a faded memory.
So I guess some time passes between those two events. So that means that Metroid Prime 4 has to be placed after Other M. And the reason why it cannot be placed after Fusion or even Dread is because in Metroid Fusion, in the beginning of the game, Samus goes back to SR388 where she is attacked by an X-Parasite. And because of the X-Parasite's infection, Samus her power suit had to be surgically removed. Because Samus her power suit is a part of her body, like it's not just a suit that she puts on. So again, because of the infection, her suit had to be surgically removed, which gives her a new appearance with the Fusion suit. And the suit that she wears in Dread looks a lot more like the Fusion suit than the power suit. And we can clearly see in the trailer from Metroid Prime 4 that she is wearing her iconic power suit with the Varia suit upgrade. Which means that the X-Parasite infection has not happened yet, so it has to be placed before Fusion. And since Other M takes place right after Super, which took place in 20X7, it has to be placed after Other M. So that's why I think Metroid Prime 4 takes place after Other M and before Fusion.